This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys. Hi, everybody. Today's meeting is gonna be with Mr. Brad. Okay, Brad is from the United States, project designer at Altec, and also a SWUG champion and certified SolidWorks expert. Um, he is gonna speaking today about user interface. His title is he chose like I'm lazy. It's quite really interesting. So the end of the meeting, if anybody has a question, feel free in order to ask him. So, hi, Brad.
I'm doing good. I'm ready to go for everybody. There we go. Getting my.
You are present now, so.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. We have getting SolidWorks booted in here while I get my slideshow going. All right. So, all right. So we are going to go through I'm lazy, tips to make SolidWorks work for you, which is more of a user interface setup. So this will be more how to set up your system. What do customizations and things to make your job easier for you. Set up for efficiency, improve how you do your job, your workflow, and then some add-ons to mention to increase productivity and whatnot. Like was already said, my name is Brad. Everybody calls me Tank. I am a 9-year product designer at Altec Industries. I build cranes and man aerial lifts to pick people up to work on power lines. I'm a 15-year SolidWorks user, and I got my CSWE in 2018. Personally, I'm married, I have kids. I'm a motorcycle minister, so I get out and go and preach and whatnot on the motorcycle. And I'm currently enrolled at Arizona State University for electrical engineering. And I'm just an overall technology and SolidWorks, CAD nerd, enthusiast. So I'm lazy. Tips for optimizing SolidWorks to work for you. So what we're going to go over today is kind of set up SolidWorks for you, how the hotkeys and stuff help, mouse gestures, mastering them, program peripherals, and then we're going to do a Q&A. So feel free to stop me at any time and ask questions as we go, or you can wait at the end and we'll do a general Q&A, or even just any issues you're having for SolidWorks. It doesn't have to be about this presentation. It could be just general SolidWorks questions, and then I'll try to, help out as best as possible. So first topic for today is setting up SolidWorks for you. Now, I know that most everybody has a cell phone, right? And most everybody, gets the cell phone, and the first thing to do is do things like change the ringtone and set the background. Change the lock screen and password. This is kind of the same setup for SolidWorks. It comes defaulted from the provider, or even set up by the company you work for. Whoa, went backwards too many times. All right, and you get your phone, and you get your software, and you can use it. It's usable out of the box, but I like to say, why limit yourself to just that? Why don't you set it up to work for you? Set the things that you need, and take the things that you don't need out of the software. So we're going to go first off with the command manager, and we'll kind of jump back and forth between SolidWorks, and we'll kind of go from there. So the command manager, number one, it's customizable. Everybody can hide and show things as they need. Take the tabs away that you don't need, add the stuff that you do need that you use the most. For me, I do a lot of sheet metal stuff. I don't do a lot of surfacing, so I end up, you know, hiding the surfacing tab. The frequently used commands that you would need right at your fingertips, rather than having to sit and go through them and find everything. All right. Come on now. My go-to meeting here is trying to show up. There we go. All right. To customize Command Manager, right click on it. And at the bottom, customize. Now, this, just a caveat, this was made on the software that my company was currently using, which is 2017. So if you guys are on newer software, older software, the customize might be a little bit different to what I'm showing. So there'll always be a customize button up in the Command Manager. It might just say customize, or it might say customize Command Manager. So just take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. Once you right-click customize, you'll be able to either create new tabs or click on the tabs that you have open and be able to customize, you know, be able to do the work inside. And so when you have that new tab, you can start from a completely empty one, or you can use any of the already preset ones to begin. So you can pick any of them. Like right now on screen, you got the 2D to 3D, the align, the assembly one, curbs, and all these things. But you know, we're going to go in and we're going to create one completely custom. So we're going to go in our live demo here in a minute, and we're going to create one that's empty. Once you get that Command Manager open, as you can see, I've got one created, and I've got things, a myriad of different things. I've got sketches, I've got sheet metal features, I've got extrudes and cuts and hole wizard and patterns, basically everything that I would need to do my job without having to click through all the tabs. Now, it's important that you pick what works for you. So if you are always working in surfacing, you don't need the sheet metal stuff. So drag them out and drag them in. The best part is these customizations, you know, they're infinite. You know, you can, once you go into the customize button, you'll see the commands. You can click on every one of them there. And here, see, I've clicked on the drawing one. I've highlighted that. And on the right, it gives you all the buttons you can add. And all you got to do is just drag them in and drag them out. It's simple. It's effective. And if it saves you a second, 2 seconds per drawing, over time, that saves a lot of time for you. It saves a lot of money for your supervisor or for, you know, whatever company you're working for. And it just makes you more efficient overall. And now, once I've got it created, you can see I've got it checked, so you can see everything that's going on. What the best part is you can see the top of the Command Manager grays out the things that aren't needed for that one thing. So right now I'm in a drawing, and it's showing you only what's applicable to that print. It's smart enough to understand that as you're working. So now we're gonna go in and we're gonna kind of do a live demo on setting one up. So again, stop me if you have questions, or if you want me to show something specific, we can do that. And we'll go. So this version of SolidWorks is 2021. I don't know if everybody's using 2021 or 2020 or even the 2022, but this will be the one that I'm going to be doing our live demo in, so it'll look a little different. So right click up in your Command Manager, and you can say customize. All right, Mohammed, looks like you're using 2020 Service Pack 5. That's when we just went from. So you see, I've got my customization up. Look at all these tabs I can pick from. I don't use many of those. So you see, I don't have them set up. But I can go over here, and there's my new tab feature. So we'll go to new tab, and I'm going to start an empty one. Now, I'm going to go over to my commands, and I'm just going to start picking things. Mohammed, what is a command you use a lot? You can yell it out. You can type it in the chat, and I'll try to find it, because I can search for my commands specifically in this search button in 2021. What's a command that you guys use a lot?
Philip.
Fillet?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do fillet, and we'll do sketch fillet, because why not? We'll have them in there. And here's some other ones. There's a fillet, a filled surface, or a fillet bead. That's for welding if you guys do weldments. All right. What's another one? It could be anything. Macros, anything. For me, I'm going to put the paste command in there. I'm going to grab open drawing in there. I'm going to grab extrude in there, features. Let's see. We'll throw in some annotations in there. But you can see, I could just pick everything I want and just grab it and drag it. So I'm going to put some balloons in there, maybe some patterns or recognize features. Let's do circular pattern, linear pattern, just things that, you know, I would use on a daily basis. What would be one?
The hole wizard.
Hole wizard. Hole wizard. That's a good one. We'll throw a hole wizard one in there. As you can see, I can just type up in here and find the commands that I use all the time and just throw them up on the thing. So we're just going to fill it out. We'll just fill some more stuff in here. We'll do extrude boss. We'll add some mates. We'll do some sketch stuff. Let's go down here and let's throw some sheet metal stuff in there just for fun. Throw some that. Let's do delete face for surfacing. But you can see any of these commands I can just throw in. And if you have a question about what each one of these mean, you just kind of hover over it and it'll tell you. So now I've got my tab. I could rename it. So I'm going to rename it tank, because that's just the one I like. And I'm going to hit OK. Now I've got my tab. Now, if I want to switch through everything, or if I want to show it again, you just say customize again, and you can just keep adding things to it. So there it is over there on the side, and you can keep adding. But let's say, you know, I want somebody to use my machine and I don't want them to use my tab or change it, then I can come down here and I can turn it on and off. So now it's not there. Now it is. It's really simple, but it really helps a user customize how everything goes, what they need, and it makes their job a lot faster. I mean, it could save you 1 or 2 clicks, but those clicks over time, over the course of a day, over the course of a week, it really does add up. So we'll go and we'll start back again, back in our thing. So toolbars are the same way. You can hide and show them if you're working specifically on a specific project, or you're contracted to do something and you need to show those toolbars. You can do that. That removes the clutter. It allows you to customize the interface. It allows you to improve your workflow, and it gives you a chance, again, to maximize efficiency. You know, I know we're all tasked with working as efficiently as possible, save as much time, get as much work done in the same amount of time that you would be in the office, or, you know, contracted for a job if you're working from home. Now, as designers, you know, our job is to be as efficient as possible, and to be able to do the job quickly, effectively, and not take a lot of time. So, same way as before, you can hide and show the command managers, hide and show the toolbars as needed. So you just right click, and you can see all these tools here. Let's see, pull up my highlighter here. You can see we've got all these toolbars. I mean, they're just there. You don't have to show them all the time. You don't have to hide them all the time. You just stick the ones you want. Now, I know personally, I like to have as much design space or viewport space as possible, so I can see it on a, you know, full-size scale. So I don't like to see tons and tons of toolbars or make my command manager huge and full of stuff, because it's just extra clutter. So I like to, you know, work, you know, show and hide things as needed. So as you can see, you can dock them anywhere. They could be floating in the middle of your screen. So if you need to do a little bit of work and you don't want to have to reach, you know, slide your mouse up and down, left and right, they'll be docked over. And as with any program, they have a little move button, and you can move them wherever you want, top to the bottom, left and right, just whatever works for you. Again, I like to keep mine as large as possible, my viewport, the modeling viewport, so that I know what works, so that I know what I can see and have as much viewing space as possible. So that's just my style. And let's see. So you can even customize them individually. So here in this drawing here, I don't need some of this other stuff. You know, I can customize them as needed. So I don't need this view, and all you got to do is grab and drag it out, just like the command manager. I don't need it, so we're just going to drag it out. But maybe I want a special dimension, but I can drag it in, and I could even customize the size of that toolbar. You know, and that, like I said, this floats around, or you can dock it, and it just gives you the customization that you need to do your job efficiently, effectively, and keep on schedule and on time with what, you know, what your supervisors or your contract states. So we're gonna go back into SolidWorks here, and we're gonna do a little bit more of this class participation. If you guys wanna, you know, join in, you can. So on 2021, you'll see you've got a toolbars flyout, and everything in here is selectable. So let's say today I'm going to be doing a lot of drawing stuff. So I'm going to turn on my drawings, and I can have them sitting up there. I'm going to do, let's do a lot of part functions. So we're going to throw some part functions up there that allows kind of pick some things. And let's throw some reference geometry in so we can kind of throw our planes and whatnot in. And with those, you can come over here, find your toolbars, hide and show them, you know, if you want to throw them in, click and hide them there. You can change your icon sizes so you can make them set as needed. So let's say if you want to have a full-size screen, but you like seeing these big icons, you can do that. Turn your tooltips on and off. So if you're hovering over something, it'll kind of give you an idea of what will go on. You can also put your command manager on and off. You can even unlock and lock them. So we've got them unlocked right now, and I can grab and drag. So if I want to create a lot of planes and I don't want to have to move my mouse all the way over here or all the way over here, or let's say you've got a giant, you know, big TV screen you're working on, that's a lot of movement. You can go in and move this thing and set it wherever you want. So I'm going to set it above my command manager for this one right now. But again, we can cut it. We can set the ones we want, or we can go in here and say, I want to customize my toolbars. So I can come in here and say, this is my toolbar. This is what I want to put in. I can grab and drag things out. Let's see, we'll pull toolbars, and we can pick things that we want. But this gives you an idea of what's allowed, what's, you know, what you can do. And let's say you get done with all of it, but you don't like it. You can reset everything back to normal and start over again. This just allows you to kind of see what works best for you, you know, do what's the most efficient. And, you know, we as designers are always tasked to learn more things, to be a little bit faster with the next project. Move the deadline, make it a little easier for the next person. So, we like to, work that way. Here's your shortcut bar. Are you guys, speaking of shortcut bars, are you guys familiar with the S key?
Yeah.
The S key, well, is your shortcut bar. And so we can pick, and put the commands that you need there. A little sidetrack, sorry. I'm a big proponent of using the S key and the shortcut bar. So you can get your commonly used things and, add the stuff you need. So here we go, there's a drawing shortcuts bar. I can go in and add more buttons. So if I want to put a break view in, I can put a break view in. I could even customize the shape if I wanted. So just kind of giving you some ideas of what all is doable inside of that, this part of the software. Any questions so far? All right, I'll take that as a note. All right, we will cancel that. And we will keep going. All right, hotkeys. Now that we've got the command manager and the toolbar set up, now we can go into hotkeys. Now I know most everybody who's an avid computer user knows that there's already some set up pre-built into Windows and into Mac if you guys use Apple products. But we're going to go over some hotkeys that everybody could use. We're going to go over some SOLIDWORKS specific ones. We're going to go over some display specific ones. And how to even customize them if you want to. All right. So we have your your standard PC hotkeys. Everybody should know these already. Print, save, select all, copy. My favorite one is highlighted. It's Control-Z. It's the undo command. That one right there is my favorite command because no matter what happens, I mess something up, I blow up the assembly. There's a lot of, I got a +1 in the chat for that one. That was a good one. I like that one. That's my favorite one. It works in Windows. It works with Microsoft Office products. It works with a lot of things. And, sometimes we make mistakes and, oh no, I added this cut and it blew up my feature tree. Control-Z. That way you don't have to go up there and hit the undo button up top. You don't have to keep clicking it. You just hit Control-Z as many times as you need, and you can do that. Some SOLIDWORKS specific hotkeys that we have. Control-B, it rebuilds only the things you change in the feature tree. So you add a hole, or you have a hole that you modify. Control-B takes that and rebuilds only that hole in the feature tree. Let's say if you've got 50 items in that feature tree, you only fix 2 of them. You only modify 2. That'll only rebuild those 2. Now, if you want to rebuild the entire model or the entire drawing, Control-Q would be your specific one. Now, if you're on a super complicated model or something that's very, very full of features or something that's really slowing your machine down, I would be very cautious about using the Control-Q. It's something that should be used sparingly. Control-B should be your go-to when you're doing commands and things. When you're editing features or adding features, Control-B should be the one that you go to. Control-Tab, that just cycles through the open SOLIDWORKS files. It's much like the Alt-Tab that we have in Windows products, but it's only through the things that are inside of SOLIDWORKS. So if you're jumping back and forth between models, comparing things, or going between a model and a drawing, doing some modification, you can just do that without having to go up to the top of the screen and click the buttons. Again, it makes it a little bit more efficient to go to work, and it kind of gives you a little bit more flexibility. Enter, it's the repeat command. So say you're doing lots of mates, you're mating a full assembly, lots of hardware being put in there, you want to do a lot of patterning or something. Every time you hit that enter key, it'll repeat that last command over and over and over again. You know, it keeps you from having to re-click that button and set your settings back up and things. Don't do that again. We already spoke about the shortcut bar, the S key. And then another one that I like when I'm doing full featured giant models with thousands of parts is the Shift C command. That collapses everything in the feature tree. So if I'm digging through an assembly that's got, you know, 1,000 parts in it, and I'm looking for a specific feature item inside that part, I can find that, click down through everything, expand all those folders, go all the way down to what I need, but I don't want to have to keep that there. So I can just hit Shift C and it'll close it all. There is a reverse of this. I'm not going to talk about it because people end up using it wrong, and it ends up slowing them down a lot because you can actually uncollapse or expand everything in the feature tree. So I tend to leave that one out. It's a little bit more obscure of a command, so we're gonna leave that one alone. But again, these are some of just the specific ones that are a little bit more efficient. Yes, the S key it's very very useful, Mohammed. I use that all the time, and I actually have customized it to do, you know, extra things. So we as designers like to add those things in there to make it a little bit more efficient. All right, some display stuff. We've got the Shift Z, zoom in, Z is zoom out, F, just zoom to fit. Say you zoom all the way in, or if you've got a 3D mouse, like a 3D connection space mouse, and you bump it and your model moves way out into space, just hit the F key. And it'll jump it back to zoom to fit. You can also use the center mouse button if you have a center mouse button, or if you have the little mouse wheel, that's the same command. You can use that as well. If you have if you have a middle mouse button, you can hit the Shift button and on your keyboard and the middle mouse button and just drag it back and forth, and it'll zoom in and out on the screen center, so on your viewport center. So if you're doing something really, really small detail on a giant part and you want to zoom in, you can do that as well. And of course, the space bar opens your view selector, so you can kind of, you know, jump around a little bit in your views. All right, so we'll jump over to SolidWorks here, and we'll kind of show some of these things here. Let's open up a file. We've got a few different ones here, and we will go into the grill. Let this open. So I've got my grill here. If you have ever taken the CSWE test, you might see this grill in that test. Hint, you might see this model in there. Let's say I want to go in here and I'm going to open up some pieces here. Yeah, I got a yes. Can I get a +1 in the chat for anybody who is thinking about taking a CSWE? All right, let's just open some models here, and let's get back to it. Now, I've got a model open, and I want to get back to my assembly. So there's my assembly, just by clicking the control, and I can hit the tab to cycle through the ones I want. So we're going to go back over to our assembly here, and we're just going to throw some changes in. Let's click this here. We're going to make this instead of 1.5, we're going to make this 2. We're going to make this a bigger button, but notice that nothing changed. So we're going to do our Control B command, and it only rebuilds those 2 things that I've changed here, or the 3 parts that I've changed, because that's the only difference I made. But let's say if I want to change this up again here, and we're going to make it 8 inches. And we're going to take this and we're going to put it at 1.5 again, As you can see, nothing's changing. All of it's still ready to rebuild. And you see over here, you got your little stoplight rebuild button on everything that needs to be rebuilt. Now, if I hit Control B, it'll only rebuild those features. But if I hit Control Q, SolidWorks will go in, start at the top of the feature tree, and rebuild every part through every step of the feature tree. Now, for something as simple as this, it was a fairly quick update. But if you have 1,000 parts inside, it'll take a while. It'll be a little slower. That's why I like to recommend using the Control B. My zoom command, like, oh no, I bumped my 3D mouse. Now I can't see where I'm at. I can double click the mouse wheel and zoom back in, or we can hit the F key and it'll do the same thing. You could do your shift and drag, right click and shift and drag in and out. That'll just be right at the screen center. Let's say I want to look through this thing and I'm going to scroll down through this part here. I'm going to go through this hinge and I'm going to find something in the annotations and I'm going to open it everything up. But now I've got to go through the very top. Or I want to go down through one of these pieces here and I'm going to keep looking through and I find everything I need. Well, everything's exploded here now. Everything's expanded out. I don't want to see that. Shift C collapses it all. So it kind of makes you a little bit more efficient, a little bit more effective in doing your tasks. Control Z is your undo command. So we'll open this part up here. You know, everybody knows the undo command, so let's make this obscenely big. We'll do our Control B to rebuild and then Control Z to undo. I didn't have to go through and click a bunch of buttons. I didn't have to go through and find the command up in here. It just was there automatically for what I needed. So it's just a little bit of extra flexibility in what you need. Now, oh, I broke my computer here. Hold up, there we go. I made it mad. All right, let's see. All right, so now that we've got everything we need, let's go back over to our PowerPoint. Hey, I see Mohammed's laughing at me over here. All right, we're gonna go to mouse gestures. I know mouse gestures are something that take a little bit of time to get used to. Sometimes you might have accidentally clicked on them and wondered what they are, but it's a command. Help you optimize your workflow, make things a little bit better, and you know, it makes us more efficient, so we're not having to click and hunt and do things. And as you saw before, I went ahead in my command manager so that you guys can see what mouse gestures do. So we're going to go over what they are, why I need them, and how to set them up. Okay. So, all right, a mouse gesture is basically just a tool that's assigned by clicking and dragging in the view. As you can see, I've got one with 4 and one with 8, just kind of show you what's going on. But it's just by holding the right click button and dragging, and it puts those commands right at your mouse tip. So it's something that kind of keeps you from having to click around and go through toolbars and whatnot. And if you want to go this route, you can get rid of all your toolbars. If you want to be dangerous, you can do that. So why do I need them? You know, why does anybody need them? Why did SolidWorks take the time to develop them? Well, it puts all the commands you would want customizable at the mouse pointer. Again, keeps you from having to go through and either find something in the command manager or find a frequently used command in your toolbar. You can just put it right at the mouse button, right at the mouse tip. And I like to say mouse miles on your wrist. So if you are, you know, spending all day designing parts, you know, it takes a little bit of the stress out of your hands and your wrist because you're not moving them as far on the table. So it reduces the risk of, things like carpal tunnel, which is a very common thing for engineers and people who use the computer all the time. And of course, it makes us more efficient. So why not use them? So again, we're going to go to the customize feature and we're going to pull up how to set up mouse gesture up. Now, again, this was set up using an older version of the software, these visuals. So we're going to kind of go through and show you how to do them on the 2020 and the 2021 version. So there's a tab inside your customize that'll let you pick everything you need to do for your mouse gestures. And for this setup, you could tell it which way it would go. In 2017, it only allowed you 4, 8, so it'll kind of limited you. But in 2021, you can go in and we can create all kinds of things here. So we're going to go back in. We're going to go to customize. We're going to go to our mouse gestures. And this right here is a huge enhancement for 2020, 2021. It allows you to see all your mouse gestures you've got set up automatically right at the fingertips. And I want to add a mouse gesture to my part. So Mohammed, you said you use the fillet command a lot. So we're going to take this view out, we're going to drag it out, and we're going to put the fillet command in. Grab and drag it in. There it is. So let's see, we're going to be in the assembly, so we'll take that out. We're gonna put something in here. Let's do for the assembly, let's do a pattern, because that's a very, better yet, let's do a mate. Mates are what I meant to call mates or constraints. Oh no, where is that at? Where's my mates? There it is. We'll put mates in. But as you can see, I want to find the specific one. I just type it in. It allows us to kind of search through things, and we can kind of go from there. Let's put the rebuild one. Let's take that top view out of there. Let's put the rebuild one in. That little rebuild stoplight. I like that one. Let's take that view out and let's put in model view. Let's put insert model, or let's see, assembly, make an assembly toolbar. I'm trying to find my insert. There we go. Let's do linear pattern in there. So there's some patterns in there and circular pattern. We'll put that there. But you can see, you can either drag them out or you can even just drag them over something, and it'll allow you to kind of put that in there as you want. And let's go wild here. Let's put something funky in that, into the drawing one. Let's put in alternate position. Go ahead and drag it into this one here. And now I've got it all set up. I'm ready to do my job. Now, I know you can't see my hands, but we'll right click, hold the right click button down, and then there's our commands. Now, as you see, the ones that are not available are grayed out. So you have a little bit of idea of what you can and can't put in. Let's say I want to put a mate in. I can just click the part I want, right click and drag, and it already allows me to put that part in. It has the face already selected. It's ready to go. So now I can just put in a part that I would like. So it's just kind of keeps me from having to go find things in my command manager or go find things in a toolbar. Just kind of makes me a little bit more efficient just by using those mouse gestures. So, does anybody use mouse gestures? We're going to do a +1 in the chat if you use mouse gestures, or if you think you want to use mouse gestures. There you go. I got a yes sir out of that one. Got one from Mohammed. That's good. Now, before you do any more work today, I want you to go in and customize it. Take the things out you don't use and put the things in that you do use. Okay? That'll be fun. It'll give you kind of a little bit of thing. It might slow you down initially because you're changing up how you view things, but once you get everything customized to your liking, it'll make you more efficient overall. And here's the enter, repeat last command. I added a mate in. I can continue by adding more mates just by hitting my mouse button, just by hitting my enter key. So let's go back over. Now, you say, now Brad, that's nice, but what happens if I get a new version of the software? What if I get a new, what if my computer, blows up and I need a new one? What if I get a new job and they provide me with a new machine? I've already got all this stuff set up. What, do I have to go back through and spend all that time customizing them again? No, says I. Save your user profile. Any SOLIDWORKS user can save their profile to either to a flash drive or to, as if you use Google Drive, or if you use OneDrive from Microsoft. There's a copy settings wizard, and you can select and save your settings for you, so that, let's say you get contracted to work at a company for 6 months. You have something you set up on your personal machine. You like how it works. You can copy that setting. You can save it to a flash drive, and the day you walk into that office, you can push that flash drive in your machine, copy those settings onto your newest version of SOLIDWORKS, and get to work with everything set up for you. So we'll kind of go over here and we'll click our start command. We can go over here and it'll be under your SOLIDWORKS tools. And there's your copy settings wizard. It'll allow you to save or restore your settings to wherever you want. Because I have it open, it won't, some of the stuff may not show back up, but I'm just gonna kind of walk you through it. But you can pick, where you want your settings. So I'm gonna set mine, just as for now, I'm gonna set these directly on my desktop. And I could set mine to Brad's user settings. Now I have a spot, and it allows me to pick, do I want just the options? Do I want the toolbars? Do I want your keyboard shortcuts, mouse gestures, even save views? So if you've got something that you always work on and you need a specific view, you can save those into it. And that's it. That's how easy it is to save your user profile. I'm very insistent with all the users that I deal with. My company has quite a few. Once they get something customized, I'll make sure that they have it saved. We have a preset one that we use, that we roll out with every version of the software. So when you download the software, it comes preset. But I encourage users, the day they get their newest upgrade, to go in and customize them and save them immediately. So if their machine crashes or they have to re-download the software, they have that. They have that ability to go back, pull their commands, things that they use, and just redo it. They're not having to sit there and click and drag and add more things over and over again. They're already ready to go. All right, so now we're going to add some things, to your computer to make it better. Peripheral add-ons, things that you might like to use. So we'll kind of go over that. Here's a bunch of them. We'll kind of go over a little bit of them. Some advanced mice, gaming mice, or the 3D Connection space mouse, or the 3D Connection actual CAD mouse, they call it. The extra buttons are assignable. You can put your macros, you can put extra commands on them. A lot of these advanced mouse settings are, set in their software itself. So, put them in. If you have you want a specific zoom, you can do that. So for this mouse here, we have a user that's back. So I have a user that likes to take this and make this his sole zoom button. So that's what he does. He uses that only for zoom. So, why not? Why not customize it? This button up top here, that could be his zoom to fit button. That's just, what you decide you want to do. Keyboards. I know I'm kind of a keyboard fanatic. I like the clicky ones, the ones that have lots of sound, because they feel better under my fingers. But some of these gaming keyboards, they have macro buttons that you can assign. As you can see on the one on the very far left, that thing's got a giant number pad, but it's also got on the top, it's got assignable keys. So you can set your, the commands right at your fingertips. So you don't have to have, your toolbars and things. You can just add them to that keyboard. And again, all these gaming keyboards come with software to allow you to do that. And my favorite, the 3D connection products. So the Space Mouse, the Pro, and the Enterprise. They can be a little expensive, but yeah, Mohammed, +1 on that. Yes, I have the wireless version of the little small one, and I love it. I take it with me if I'm going to work from home, or if I'm going to work at a different location. I make sure to take it in my book bag with my laptop. I will say the first time I used it, I hated it. I didn't like it, but I slowed myself down. I figured out what I needed to. I changed some settings on it, which allowed me to even add commands to those extra buttons. Now on the small one, it's on the very far left of your screen, that has 2 buttons on it, that you can assign. So why not assign those buttons? You see in the one in the middle, it's got a lot of them. You got your escape key, your command, your alt, you can put them all right there. The one on the very far right, I have not had a chance to use or demo, but that one can even read your email. It's got enough stuff in the software to read your email, to open up Excel sheets, things that, might seem redundant, but if you're constantly doing work inside of SolidWorks, you don't want to have to close the software or minimize it. It allows you to, be a little bit more efficient, even with things that are outside of the software. And then last, if anybody you game, there's some game boards out there that are add-ons as well that have macro keys that you can add to it. I'm not big on these because I don't have a lot of space on my desk, but that is an additional option. And then macro keys. These are a little bit older technology. They're like the game boards. They're just an extra keypad you can put macros and stuff in. If you guys decide, you want to try that route, go for it. So these are accessories for efficiency. They reduce the waste of, moving your hands around and the fatigue that goes along with it. Because, over time, that wears on your hands, your elbows, your wrists, even your fingers, and it gives you an overall efficiency increase. Now, why? Well, it gives you, keeps your fingers and hands in an ergonomic position, more comfortable. You get to dedicated buttons to do what you want. On that Enterprise one with all the extra buttons, you can put as many commands on them as you want. But it also reduces your strain and your motion waste. And we all know wasted time is always wasted money. So a 3D mouse study just on time. This was done by 3D Connection, so just a caveat there. So 5% for a day. So that is 3 minutes per hour times a 40-hour work week. That is 2 hours saved a week. And if you times that by 44 working weeks a year on average, that is 88 hours of saved time just with a 5% motion waste reduction inside of the software. Now that may seem like a stretch, but if you're having to constantly move parts and things, it could take you into a more cost reduced use case. Now I used engineering salary for the United States. That's $4,400 per year in savings. So $100 add-on that you buy, it saves you $4,400 a year. less pain with your Space Mouse. 61% of those was in the first month of use, and then muscle fatigue in your hands goes, is decreased. Now again, this was sourced by 3D Connection. They're the ones who designed the product, so I couldn't independently verify that, but it's fine. And it also speeds up the bandwidth. As you can see, you've got navigate command with a little bit of a switch time. But with using that 3D mouse, your left hand can be navigating while your right hand is selecting the commands, and it gives you a little bit increased bandwidth usage as far as time. But it's also been used on TV. Can you spot it? Somebody at Sci-Fi decided they liked the way it looked, and they put it on their set. They just threw it on the TV. So it was just a little bit of a fun hide and seek that I found one time while watching a TV show. So now it's time for some Q&A. And if you have questions about the presentation, or if you have specific questions about the about anything else, feel free to ask. I'm fairly flexible. I can, answer pretty much anything. So, and if you feel like you don't want to ask questions on the meeting, or for people who are recording if you want to watch the recording, I have my information here on the screen. You could email me. I have Instagram, and I do WhatsApp as well. So if you have WhatsApp, you can use my number on WhatsApp and send me a message and ask me questions. I'm always open to help out people, and it's something that I'm passionate about. And so yeah, but I appreciate you guys sitting and listening to me, sitting through my presentation. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to shout them out or email me.
Thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate it. Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoy your tips.
All right. I'll stay on for another 5 or 10 minutes, and if you guys have questions, feel free to ask, and or put them in the chat. Let me open up the chat here so I can see it. Where did my chat go?
Okay.
There it is. Does now, as everybody that is currently in the meeting, do you guys work for companies, or do you do independent contracting or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm not working now. I'm a student. Gonna be graduated next week.
Okay.
Yeah, and after that, I will join like a certain company related to mechanical design.
Okay. That's
so
cool.
I'm thinking to move to United States.
Okay. Now, what's your degree in for school?
Yeah, bachelor.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a mechanical engineer.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, I'm a mechanical engineering technologist, so I have a little bit of experience with machining, CNC machining, welding, the CAD side of it, obviously, a little bit of the calculation and theory for the engineering part, but more the practical application.
Yeah,
so
same.
Yeah, I applaud you guys for doing that. So, but yeah, since we don't have any questions, we'll go ahead, and if you want to go ahead and stop the recording, that way you can use it for your YouTube channel, and